So a student of mine was asking me yesterday, what is the first thing he needs to know when naming organic compound? So you guys are lucky because that's what this video is about. So the first thing you need to know is the parent name, and then you can check their functional groups. The parent name is knowing how many carbons the hydrocarbons have. So today we'll be talking about alkanes, alkenes, and alkynes. So alkenes are hydrocarbons which contain single bonds in between the carbon and the carbon only. So they are called saturated. While alkenes contain double bonds in between the carbons. They are called unsaturated, and alkynes have triple bonds. So let's go back to our parent name. If it has one carbon, it's called a methyl. Right? It can be methane, methane. No, it can be. It's called meth. It can only be methane because it cannot have double bonds since it only has one carbon atom. It's not bonded to other carbons. So if it has two, it's eth, 3 prop, 4 but, 5 pent, 6 hex, 7 hept, 8 oct, 9 non, and 10 dec. So it can be decane, decene, or decyne. Same as the other ones which have carbons above 2. So the suffix of these hydrocarbons, if it's an alkane, it's ane, alkene in, and then alkyne ine. So now let's try a few examples. Firstly, I will give you a very simple structure. So this is the first structure. So this one is an alkane. It has 4 carbon atoms, therefore a butane. So let's move to the second structure. So the second structure, we can see now it has 2 functional groups. So we start by checking the longest carbon chain still. And also we start numbering from the carbon closest to the functional group, which is carbon number 1 in this case. So we have methyl as a substituent and on position number 2. Therefore, the name of this compound is 2-methyl. So when you look at the name, you should already get an idea of what the structure looks like. So when naming these compounds, it's very important to be accurate. You have 2-methyl in position number 1, you have a pentene. Position number 3, you have an alkyne, and therefore the name. So next, let's go to the next example. So the same rules still apply. It doesn't matter what kind of compound you're working with. You guys just have to know the rules. So the first thing you do still is to look at which one has the longest carbon chain, right? So in this case, we have 7 carbon atoms, which means we are dealing with a hept. It has 2 functional groups, so we cannot give it a suffix yet. So, but now when we look, we can see that the carbon closest to the functional group is the one with a double bond. So we have to change the numbering here, which means the one closest to the double bond will be our carbon number 1. So we have a methyl as a substituent. So therefore our name will be 2 Since on position number 4 we have methyl, our name will be 4-methyl. 1-heptene, 5-ine. So we start by the alkene and then we put the position of the alkyne. So that's what we have to follow. Next, group, right? So in this case, carbon number 1 is closest to the functional group. It doesn't matter the position of the substituent. The important thing is the functional group in this case. So therefore, the name of this carbon has 5 carbons, which means it's a pent, and therefore the name of this carbon will be 5-chloro, since we have a chlorine on position number 5. 5-chloro, 1-pentyne. So there are different ways on which you can name this due to the positioning of the functional group. If the functional group, so another way on which you can do it, you can just put 5-chloro and exclude the pentyne. Automatically, the reader will know that the functional group is on position number 1. So let's go to the next one. Let's go to the next. As we said, the parent name should always have the longest carbon chain, guys. Let's not forget these rules. You start numbering from the carbon closest to the functional group, right? So in this case, the cyclic hydrocarbon is our parent name since it has the longest carbon chain. And it has 6 carbons, which means it is a cyclic hexane, right? So now let's look at the substituent. So our substituent has 3 carbon atoms. And it also has a functional group. This will be very interesting. It's very tricky. So it has 3 functional groups, and it has 3 carbons, and a triple bond, which means it's a propenyl, right? So the positioning of this substituent doesn't really matter. You can either choose to put it or not. So when we name it, we can say it's 1-propenyl cyclohexane. Even if you can put the name without the position number 1, you'll still get a mark. So now let's move to the next one. Next. Let's see the next one. How does it look? So now we're presenting the condensed structure formula. Condensed structural formula. I will make another video on the kind of structures, condensed, calculator, all those ones. I'll make a video so that you guys can know about them. But the simplified one is the line structure. It's always best to use the line structure because it saves space. It's very simple. Guys, we're done. Let's check the longest carbon chain. So you can see that we started naming from the one closest to ethyl because we have to check alphabetically the alphabetic order of the substituent. So now ethyl is on position number 3. Since E comes before M, we start numbering from the carbon closest to ethyl. So on position number 3 we have ethyl, position number 6 we have a methyl, and then on position number 4 we have our alkyne. But the parent name of this, we have an alkyl functional group, but the parent name of this whole hydrocarbon is an oct. So we have position number 4, alkyne, octi, right? So let's go to the very last and final structure. I'm sure you guys are happy now that we're about to end this video. I hope you are learning a lot. So let's see what's happening. So we're still using you should familiarize yourself with the kind of structural formula. The calculate, condensed, the line, So we'll still start by checking the longest carbon chain. We can see that we have 2 carbons which are closest to the functional group, but chlorine is a lower alphabet compared to ethine. C comes before E. Therefore, we start numbering from the carbon closest to chlorine, right? So on position number 2, we have chloro. Position number 3, we have ethyl. The parent name is pent, but on position number 1 and 4, we have the alkenes. So the parent name will be pentadiene. Diene because we have 2 alkene or 2 double bonds, right? So guys, thank you so much for watching my video. Thank you so much for your support. Thank you so much for taking your future so seriously and deciding to watch my videos. So if you found it helpful, like, subscribe, and share this video with your friends, and don't forget to click on the notification bell so that you can get more videos when I upload more videos. Thank you so much, guys. See you in the next video.